All right, welcome everyone here on the Hangout and watching online. This is our weekly media team Scrum for July 22nd, most everywhere. We have a weekly Scrum every Tuesday in the morning U.S. time. We are going to be alternating that in the future to an alternate time every other week to help include some non-U.S. participants. So look to that in the future. We just give a quick update what we've been working on, if we're blocked by anything, and then we just have a general agenda discussion if we have anything that needs talking about. So I think we have a lot of updates today, and we have a hack pad. Well, first I should mention we're in IRC, in the #Drupal-Media IRC channel. You can join us there and ask questions, anything. If you don't want to join the Hangout, that's totally fine. And then we also have a meeting notes hack pad going, and I'll paste this in IRC with kind of the agenda and overview of today's meeting. So we'll make sure to post that afterward. Share. All right. Let's see. Okay. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So let's see, for my updates, and if you give your update, it'd be nice if you could just type in the meeting notes down below, like what you worked on, and just kind of give a summary of what you talked about. So that way we can share that later. For myself, I participated in Drupal Corn, a camp event here in Iowa this last weekend, and got a little bit of time to work on Drupal Media, mostly the Drupal 7 issue queues, and made a couple progress on some issues and posted a couple more patches. Shandan, you might want to mute. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. It's distracting. Didn't have much time to work on Drupal 8 stuff, but have been following the Trello board and IRC as well. That is it for me. Hi, Zurich team. What have you guys? What has everyone been up to?
Yeah. So we've been working on several different things here. Probably everyone should tell which person is working on. I've been mostly focusing on Entity Browser component, and we'll be focusing on that. So you might need to see a little bit of activity on GitHub and that repository. Yeah, go on.
I've been working on media entities, writing test coverage, actually, that's all, and improving like code, regarding code standards.
Cool.
So I've been working on the file access controller, and today I've been working on fallback formatter module, porting to Drupal 8. Made some progress there, and just need to finish the part, and then it should be like ready for review.
Maybe we can introduce ourselves. So I'm Yannis.
My name is James.
Martin.
I'm Christian.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sure. So I worked together with James on the media entity module. As you said, we're testing right now, making tests, and we just fixed some coding standards today. So, and that's what we're going to continue on.
Okay, my name is Sasha, and I've been working with an file entity, getting some proof of concepts there, porting the basics part, and trying to figure out how to do the bundle stuff and updating bundles and so on for content entities in Drupal 8, and also some discussions and reviews and so on.
And we also opened a repository on GitHub for file entity. So,
Gotcha. Saw that. Yep.
The same approach with development as we do for other modules.
Oh yes, I'm Miro. Yeah, I'm here too. Actually, I'm trying to keep the work away from our guys here so that they can still focus on the sprint and not too much media stuff doing.
That job is greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Oops.
Cool. Is that everyone in the room there? I can't see if there's anyone behind you. But...
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's already.
Cool. Awesome. I'm glad to hear things are going pretty well. And I've been loving kind of watching all this stuff go along. So keep up the great work, everyone there. That's great. If you need anything from anyone else, just let us know. So, all right. Shandan, you can go for your update next on entity embed stuff.
So today I don't have my headphones, so like you may have to bear with the noise.
Okay.
But moving on with it. So there I wrote a lot of tests for entity embed. So now we have a better test coverage for most of the things. And now basically only the front end stuff remains, and most of the else has now test coverage, so we should be good.
Great. Yeah, that's been making great progress on the test coverage. That's been encouraging that we're not doing too much development without lacking tests too far behind. So that's been great. Thank you. Brant, go ahead and let us know if you have anything to update on.
Yeah, so we actually met in Portland last week and sort of started to carve out what our roadmap was going to look like for Demo Framework, and how this relates to media pretty much is that for this current sprint and the next one, we're looking at, like, Tim Plunkett, who's on our team, is working on finishing out getting some beta blockers released so that they can get a beta out and everyone's modules don't have to keep chasing ahead as badly as they have been. So that should be helpful for everyone. As soon as he's done with that, we'll be moving him off and then over to page manager stuff, which hopefully will support media embeds. And what I'll be working on actually starting this sprint from basically tomorrow forward is a request for a story that is around the story is as such: as an editor, I should be able to crop, scale, and rotate images with, and I'm in quotes now, Photoshop-like tools. Or I was also given a link to a video of WordPress. So I'm going to be working with Kevin O'Leary and Brian Wald, who are front-end developers, to come up with some UX that I can work with and try to develop some actual tools that will sit on top of these embeds and work in a fashion that allows you to do some light image editing to images.
That's no small task, that's for sure. Editing in embeds.
Yeah, and so if anyone's actually working on this yet, or if anyone's actually touched it in any capacity, even if it was in Drupal 7, and they want to connect with me, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be great. So if anyone, get in touch with Brant. He's Brant Wynn in IRC. So that'd be good. Willie, do you want to give an update on the call? I see you're typing in the hackpad.
Yeah, I'm just putting an update in the hackpad. I haven't been able to make much progress since the last call I was on, so it's pretty small the last 2 weeks. But I did reach out to Kevin today regarding the contacts of time and getting their user stories in and just getting them involved. I had that good chat that I mentioned with Colin Bodella, who's the CTO of Time, and then their VP of Tech, and they confirmed that they were interested in getting involved. So we'll do that, and then I can, just help with coordinating, what we need to do to make sure that we get the team together in Amsterdam as well. So, and then I can do some review and testing on the issue that you mentioned above that's ready for review. So I'll take a quick look at that this week as well.
Which issue were you talking about reviewing, Willie? Sorry, it's kind of hard to hear you at the end there.
Sorry, that was 207-8473. It was the entity access API, and it looks like there was a patch that was posted there that was tested, and I just thought I can give it a test and do a review on that as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that would be great. connecting some of the work being done in Zurich. That would be good. Cool. Thank you, Willie. Let's see. So kind of our action items still are kind of carried over from the last time. I will get a groups.drupal.org post about our alternate time out today. I have a hard deadline for myself to do that. So that will happen. And to review the user story feature on the Drupal Media site, I'll work on that a little bit too. Do we have any other action items aside from like Drupal.org issues to review? All right, if you think of anything, go ahead and add it to the hackpad. It's worth mentioning our like Drupal.org issues of the week, things that we really want to focus on. We're going to continue using the one that we did last week, so it's more like our issue of the month. And it's still about file entities and access controllers. There's two different issues. There's 207.8473. That's the one that the Zurich team has been sprinting on and has patched the INS review for private files and file access. That's the one that Willie mentioned. And then there's 214.8353. Which is actually a separate issue for making sure that we use like the actual access controller everywhere and converting hook file download to the access controller. So we've got progress on that moving, so that's great. So that first one needs review, and I would encourage people to take a look at that and give it feedback. We still have stuff in architecture review. We have Entity Browser, but I think we're feeling pretty good about that architecture review, so we might close that out since we're starting to move forward on development on that. The embed module could use feedback. That's in Hackpad. And also the file URL widget, which is kind of going to replace what the Media Intranet module did in Drupal 7. That has a Hackpad for architecture review. If anyone listening or in the Zurich sprint wants to provide feedback on those, on that Drupal 8 direction, that would be really great and appreciated. And maybe we'll add that to the sprint board as well. That might be good for that. Anything else we should talk about or cover before we should adjourn?
About those access issues. So
yes.
One thing that we had was the hook file download has 3 states. There is return nothing, allow access, deny access, and entity access has just do it, allow or deny. And we have to keep one check in the hook, which is about not having any references at all, and then it doesn't say anything, and then something else can say something. And we have to keep that check, and that might also be a problem when you want to completely remove the hook or switch to file access completely. Being able to, that third state, I'm not sure, maybe it's different if the hook is gone completely, but you have to keep a references check inside hook file download, inside file download, because the access controller couldn't return null to say, I don't care.
Well, we should be implementing something like hook node access in D8 still, which has those 3 states. We should be converting it to use that with an operation instead of just hook file download.
Yes. The problem is that inside hook node access, those 3 states exist, and the module can say nothing or it can say something. But the return value is Boolean. You have access or you don't. And there was a mismatch. You will see if you have a look at the patch, we still have 1 references call, and if there's no references, then you don't call the access controller, because that one would deny access.
So if anything denies, I'm sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear you since you're a little bit further away from the laptop. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So if anything denies access, it shouldn't continue checking. Is that what you're saying, or?
There was some test file. I'm not sure quite exactly how and when, but the problem was that the current file download doesn't check if there are any references at all, or if the file is temporary, or if the current user is the owner, or something like that. And if so, then it returns and doesn't deny access. And the current access implementation will then deny access because there are no references and nobody allows access. So there's a mismatch there between the hook and the file access. It might or might not be a problem for completely removing it. I'm not sure.
Is this the file entity version or core for Drupal 8?
Core.
Core. Okay, can you... Is that posted as a comment in the issue?
Yes, I will. If you have a look at the patch, I will highlight the problem parts, and then you will probably see it.
Okay, I can go review that then. Let's see.
Ping pong, ping pong.
Okay. All right. So we'll follow up with that. Any other issues that or things that we should bring up before we adjourn?
That's here, I guess.
Let that person in. Come on. Okay. All right. I think that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast if everyone wants to just hang on for a little bit. Thank you, everyone online, for joining us. And keep posted to the groups.drupal.org for our alternate meeting time for next week. So it will not be in the same time, but it should probably be on Tuesday still. So, or Wednesday morning for some. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast and see you next week.